In this video, we're going to see passive used in a strange way that we've already talked about. So this is the negatively effective use of the passive. We're going to see tahoga in a way that isn't just I like this more than that. And we're also going to see, where was it? Oh, we're going to see how to use the te hoshi pattern properly with lots of with ni particles, which will be interesting to see. Hopefully, maybe you already know this, maybe you don't know this, but usually we just see te hoshi by itself, but we don't see the ni particle in it. Here we go. Oh, welcome. My name is Evan Rogers. Welcome to Evansy's Japanese. We're doing NHK articles. We are finishing up the article that is about the social media Safe Internet Association. Here is their website. They are trying to make it so that people who are being bullied online can talk to somebody, and maybe that company can take down or can help the social media companies take down nasty incidents of cyberbullying. So here we go. 協会は blah 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 と話してました. So the association has said all of the stuff that's in here. Technically, this is one sentence followed by with three sentences in it. We're just quoting a bunch of sentences. So anyway, that's the first sentence. 協会は blah 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 と話してました. The association has said blah 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 blah. Now the blah 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 is where we're going to find all the meat and potatoes. So here we go. 悪口を書かれた人ではなくて協会が言った方が悪口を消す会社が多いようです. All right. So this is a very interesting sentence. Here we go. 悪口を書かれた人. Notice how we have the verb 書かれた going into 人. 書かれた is, we use this because notice that it's usually the passive. Again, we talked about this already. The passive is usually when we take the object and we make it the subject. So I ate a cheeseburger. The cheeseburger was eaten by me. Notice how the cheeseburger became the subject. I ate the cheeseburger and the cheeseburger was eaten by me mean the same thing, just we put cheeseburger in a different location. And that's what the passive usually does. But notice here we have watakuchi is not ga, right? So somebody must have written the insult because this isn't a subject marker, right? It isn't that the insults were written because that would be a ga particle. This is watakuchi o kakareta. So because it's this o particle, it either means that this passive is actually the honorific, which doesn't make any sense in this context, or it's the be negatively affected by. So these hitos have been negatively affected by the watakuchis. So watakuchi o kakareta hito. So these are people who have been negatively affected by these insults or by somebody else writing the insults. Notice how it is still a verb. It is still a verb. It is still, they have been negatively affected by somebody writing these insults. And that's how that passive works. That's the being negatively affected aspect of it. So it's somebody watakuchi o kaku, somebody wrote an insult, but then further, because it's the passive, it's the hitos were negatively affected by somebody else writing it. So very, very English scrooby-dooby-dooby, but in Japanese it's just very linear, whereas in English it's very twisty. Anyway, people who were negatively affected by somebody else's writing of the insults, dewa nakute, not them, not the people who were negatively affected by the insults, but 協会がいた方が blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're used to seeing this pattern of, subject got something shita hou ga ii desu, right? You're very used to seeing blah, 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 shita hou ga ii desu, right? Now, I want to talk about the shita hou ga ii desu pattern. You've seen this frequently. So usually we say something like, it's you should eat pizza. Pizza o tabeta hou ga ii desu. So should I eat pizza or should I eat vegetables? Well, you want to get fat, so pizza o tabeta hou ga ii desu. I want to talk about how this grammar works. The word hou is actually the kanji for path, and so it means path. Imagine you're walking down a path, and then there's a fork in the road, and you can either go the pizza route or you can go the vegetable route. So if you're looking for the E path, right, the good path, the E path, the good path, the good path is the path of pizza o tabeta. So it's the pizza o tabeta hou. And that is ii desu, right? The pizza o tabeta ho ga ii desu. The path of having eaten pizza is good. Okay? So in the same way that it's the path of having eaten pizza is good, notice we don't have ii desu after this. So this is very much literally the path of the association having said it. So the path of the association having said it. Notice how it's ita's having said it, past tense has said it, is done saying it. And then we make the ga, right? So that the association has said it. And we don't say ii desu, but imagine if instead of ii desu, we're ending it in all of this. Watakuchi o kesu kaisha ga oi you desu. Okay? So instead of saying pizza o tabeta ho ga ii desu, we're saying pizza o tabeta ho ga watakuchi o kesu kaisha ga oi you desu. Okay, so hopefully you can see how we're doing the exact same grammar as you should eat the pizza, but instead of saying ii desu, we're saying this whole chunk that I've highlighted here. Hopefully you can see how that works. The pattern remains, but we're just replacing ii desu with this right here. Okay. So this is almost this shitahoga ii desu pattern that we have, or shitahoga thing that we have here. It's almost like an if. It's almost like an if. So what if the association tells them or says it? Watakuchi o kesu kaisha, companies that erase the insults ga oi, are many you desu. And this yo is it appears so. It would seem that there are many companies. It seems like there are many companies. Companies, there are many of them. What kind of companies? Companies that erase the insults. It seems that there are many companies that would erase the insults. And then we're going to use this tahoga e pattern as if. If the association says it, not the people who have been negatively affected by the insults. I changed a little bit of the subject and object in English here, but let's just do that one more time, okay? So, warukuchi o kakareta hito, people who have been negatively affected by somebody else's writing of the insults, dewa nakute, not these people. So the dewa nakute, we don't know what this is until we get to the itahoga I, right? Or the itahoga. I just blurred out that I there. So if the association says it, not the people who have been negatively affected by somebody else's writing it, it would appear that companies who are willing or who would erase the insults are numerous. There are many of them. That's how that sentence right there is going. This is a very grammatically intense one. And I want to point out just how this is exactly the same thing as your pattern of you should eat pizza. Okay, speaking of that, notice how should is in the O-U-L-D, S-H-O-U-L-D, like should, would, could. Those are all what are called subjunctives, which is a fancy way of saying if. These are all if. So the way that I translated this as if the company were to say it, then there are many more. If it's not the people who are insulted saying it, if it's the association that says it, notice how that if feeling is in the English of should. That shitahoga I pattern, you should do that. That shitahoga I pattern also does have that idea of if that we just used in here. One more thing. Notice how we have a ga after kyokai. This should be a wa under normal circumstances. And the reason why it's a wa is not because there's a wa here. That's not the reason why there's a wa here. Or sorry, the reason why this is a ga is not because of this wa right here. Excuse me, I must have the Rona. The reason why it's a ga here is because it's the important part of who should say it, like the important part of this sentence right here, like if we go with uta right here, if we look at this whole thing right here, and we're trying, and it's just somebody says something. We don't care if it's the imas Like, that's not important to the sentence. Honestly, that they say it or they yell it or that they scream it or that they barf it or they write it or they yell it or whatever they do, that's not important. What's important is that if it's this association that does it, not these people. That idea right there, notice how all the important information of this clause, it should be the clause because it's the ita right here. Notice how all the important information comes before the ga. Not the person who was insulted, but the association, if they're the ones who say it, right? It almost feels like it's the answer to the question of who should say it. Who should say it? If it's the company that says it, it'll be better. That's why this is a ga here. I want to make sure we understand that that's why it's a ga. It's not because this is a wa over here. Sometimes when we start off a big sentence with a wa particle, all the many clauses are going to use gas, even though by themselves they would have a wa particle. This ga is here explicitly because we're different, because we're emphasizing that it should be the association that says it. Okay? Because this is important to who says it. It's like, who should say it? They should say it. That kind of a feeling of an answer of a question and putting the emphasis before the subject, that's why it's a ga there. So very grammatically intense, very informative sentence right here. I hope you learned a lot. If you learned a lot, leave me a tip, join Patreon, buy a shirt, buy that pen that I keep pitching. Fantastic pencil, by the way. I have it in my pocket. I'm not going to bother getting it out right here. この問題で悩んでるたくさんの人に教会に相談できることを知ってほしいです。Okay. 知ってほしい. Sorry. Verb to form 欲しい means we would like somebody to do something. We would like somebody to do something. 知る、知ります。知って、知る、知ります。That kind of means like to know. They would like you to know that. But it could also mean the idea of like get to know. It could also mean like get to know something. Okay, so we would like people to get familiar with the idea or that people should know about us. That kind of a feeling of this. So we want people to know something. We want people that they know that blah, 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 blah. What should they know? Well, lucky for you, we have an O particle. What do they know? The O particle tells us. We want people to know koto. What kind of koto? Sodan dekiru koto. That. We want people to know that they can discuss or consult. This ni particle is operating like the to particle with the association. 教会に相談できることを知ってほしいです. We would like people to know that they can consult with our association, with the association. Okay. Now, notice how this ni seems removed from 知ってほしい. This ni is being used with 相談できる. However, this ni is being used with the 知ってほしい. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing it. 知ってほしい. たくさん人に知ってほしい. This is who you would like to do the てほしい pattern. We would like these people to know that they can do all this, that they can consult with us. We would like these people to know that they can consult with our association. Okay, now notice hito is being modified by all this stuff. Hito is being modified by takusan no hito, so many people. The many people, we would like the numerous people to know. We would like the numerous people who are nayanderu, who are bothered by, who are being bothered, who are worrying about this. So nayanderu is modifying hito, and so is takusan is modifying hito. So we have nayanderu hito, and we have these nayanderu hito are takusan no hito. So the many people who are bothered by, notice the de particle, by konomodai, by this problem. So we would like the many people who are bothered by this problem to know, we would like these people to know that they can consult with our organization, our association. That is the video. Give me some money. That's so rude. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please consider joining Patreon, subscribe, star, any of those good things. You get a reward if you join. And if you just like it, try checking out my Teespring, get a shirt or a poster or something. Cloth mask if you want. I'm not sure how safe those are, to be quite honest, but I'm going to start making videos with those on, I think. Have yourselves a happy day. Peace out. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you like, subscribe, and share this video to everybody you know and yell at them repeatedly until they subscribe as well. If you'd like to support me even more, head on over to patreon.com, where for just $1 a month, 3 cents a day, that's it, it's darn near free, you can help me financially keep these videos coming. And as a reward for your Patreon donations, you get access to all of the miscellaneous things that I produce to help out my own students who I teach in person, and also just things that I make for myself. And if you want a little bit more bang for your buck, head on over to Teespring, where you can get lots of fun clothing, mugs, stickers, cell phone cases, all that I've designed. More designs to come. I hope you have yourself a happy day. Peace out.